Well, good evening, Schuko and Tin Toy fans. This is the Tin Meister, and I'm here to tell you about a special car today. And it's not a Schuko, it's a GESCHA. It's the GESCHA Sixmobil, made in Germany from about 1953, maybe to 65. Some sources say it was built as early as 1951. But in any case, it's a fascinating toy that rivals Schuko and some others in its complexity and its simplicity as well. So the Sixmobil is about 8.5 inches long and about 4 inches wide. The basic shape is based on the Porsche 356 that was built in the early 50s. Here's a picture of a 1951 Porsche 356 called a split window coupe. And you can see that it's very similar, but there are some differences. And notice that there's no grille on this Porsche on the front. There is on our car. And on the back you can see there's a grille, but there's no grille on the GESCHA car. So now let's look at some of the parts and how they operate. And you can tell the difference between the Porsche and the GESCHA car. So there's the grille, and notice that there's no grille on the Porsche. This is denoting a radiator, I suspect. There's no radiator on a Porsche because it's air-cooled. And there's also the hood handle, the much larger hood handle than in the Porsche. Also, you can see that there's a chrome bumper. Chrome bumpers were an option on some 356s, but I think it came later than the 51, but I may be wrong on that. So there's that hood handle, much larger. And also in the back, it looks more like a Volkswagen than it does a Porsche because there's no grille, but it does have a split rear window. So why would GESCHA depart from the elegant lines of the Porsche 356 as designed by Ferry Porsche and Erwin Commenda? Because they thought children would be more attracted to a car that had more flair to it than the simple lines of the Porsche 356. Now, GESCHA did design a car that would look very much like a 356 without the grills and all that stuff. It was a 558 car, not the 557 car that we're looking at here. I don't have a 558 in my collection, but it was called the Returno car, and it had bumpers in the front and the back that if you press them, the car would go in the opposite direction. Anyway, back to the Sixmobil. Let's take a look at the bottom and the operation controls for the bottom. So these are the controls. There's the lever B that turns the disc that makes it go into the 6 different operation modes. And on the back of the car, it shows what the modes are. There's 6 different things you can have the car do. And then there's a start and stop lever that stops like a brake. And then there's lever A. And then made in Western Germany and Sixmobil. So make sure you press that lever A forward when you turn. There you go. Turn lever A forward, and then you can pull up on the disc and make it go in the different operation modes. What I'm trying to demonstrate here is that if you pull up on A and then you pull B, it moves about 1/4 inch out, and you can turn the disc to the different operating modes. So I'm moving lever A forward, and you can see it affects the steering. So now let's take a look at the hubcaps of the 2 different kind of cars we have here. Both are Sixmobils, but this is the older type of hubcap on the red car, and the more common type is on the brown car. This is a GESCHA key. A quick look at that. And this is the start-stop on the bottom. I also want to mention that in 1956, GESCHA came out with an electro Sixmobil, battery operated, and it's very rare. Make sure you use that lever A. I can't emphasize it enough. Notice how it affects the steering when you push it forward. And now we're going to take a look at how these cars actually operate. So let's put them down for a minute, and we'll go into the living room and give it a try. Okay, so we'll go through all the 6 operations. We're going to wind up the car. Make sure it's on stop. There you go. Put it on stop, and then we're going to try number 1 out first. Wind it up. Now I've got a pretty slick floor here, so it might spin out a couple times because there's a very powerful spring in this car. And that coupled with these old tires makes it pretty hard to keep it going in a straight line and not spin out. There you go, we're on number 1 now. It's going to be a straight line. It's going for a straight line. And there it goes. Pretty simple. So now we go to operation number 2, which is an oval. Pretty fun to watch. Line it up again. Make sure it's on stop. And there's my bolt head in the back. Kind of skidding around a little bit because of that slick floor and hard tires. Uh-oh. So that's the oval, operation 2 of the Sixmobil. There we go. Okay, here's operation 3, and 3 is a square, I think, or the small circle. It's a small circle, yeah. And there's a large circle, which is much larger, which we'll get to in a moment. Let's see how we do on this one. That's a small circle. Now, folks, if you want to see how this thing really operates, you need to know what's going on inside of it. So take a look at my repair video on the Sixmobil. There we go. So that's a small circle. Okay, so let's go to operation 4, which is the square. I've already wound it up again, I think. So let's try that out. Oh, ouch. There we go. It's spinning. Okay, so let's try it again. It's pretty good. Uh-oh. Here's a tip. Don't step on your Sixmobil. And that tip comes expense-free to you for watching this video and putting up with my shenanigans. So that wasn't a great explanation of the square, but let's move on to the large circle, which is operation 5. So you'll see some of the diagrams show which direction the car will go in. Like on operation 5, it's a left-hand turn. So this is a large circle, and it's actually pretty large. Okay, so that's operation 5, the large circle, left-hand turn. And now we move on to the final one, which is the figure 8. Number 6. You'll find that the figure 8 is pretty amazing, and that it doesn't actually do exact figure 8. It kind of turns and turns, and then it'll turn back the other way. So don't be disappointed if it doesn't do exactly a figure 8. It might work better on a different kind of floor, or with better tires. There you go. So that's all 6 operations of the Sixmobil, and here is the special GESCHA key. So some of the information that I'm talking to you about today and in the repair video came from a book that I have. And here's that book. It's a toy collector's guide to GESCHA and STRENCO by Rothenberger and Gardner. The book was published in 1998 and has both English and German text. It runs through all the toys that GESCHA produced, and then eventually they bought STRENCO and produced other toys, like plastic toys, later. Here's a write-up on the Sixmobil. And there's that 558 I talked about earlier in the program. I know of no other books that are so complete about the GESCHA cars and whole GESCHA line. If you know something better than this, please let me know. But GESCHA made a lot of really cool toys, and I will probably show some of those in future videos. I will be doing a video on the GESCHA Autofox car, and that's coming up. And I'll probably do a couple more GESCHA videos. So if you can, get a copy of this book. I really enjoyed it. So that brings us to the end of another video. This one about the GESCHA Nr. 557 Sixmobil. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope you tune in for some more videos that are coming up soon. Thanks, guys.